Hello and welcome to a demonstration of Tekoa ERP, a cloud-based ERP solution that manages your whole business from top to bottom, including financials, inventory management, accounts payables, receivables, purchases, sales, as well as being totally mobile optimized, which means that you can access the system on mobile devices such as tablets, phones, handheld computers, barcode scanners. I'm going to go over just briefly some of the highlights available in Tekoa ERP. It's not intended to be a full feature demo of Tekoa, so I just want to give you a brief couple-minute overview of what's available. A couple things to know about starting out here is that it is cloud-based ERP software, which means that if you have a browser and an internet connection, you can use Tekoa ERP. So it works where you do. Gone are the days where you're stuck to a desk. You can use Tekoa ERP just sitting just about anywhere as long as you're on the internet, and it's compatible with all major browsers, including Internet Explorer, Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. In addition, it's compatible with tablets, mobile phones, handheld computers, and this type of thing as well. So again, I'm going to just jump right in and give you a brief overview. Once logged into Tekoa ERP, you get this main dashboard screen, and it's something that all users see as soon as they log into the system. There's a couple of highlights here. You can do company-wide announcements so that you want to give people information about what's going on in the company. Say, hey, there's a special promo that starts, or the 4th of July holidays coming up, or there's an all-company picnic, or whatever the case may be. You can make announcements that everyone sees as soon as they log into the system here. In addition, you can set up calendar events for the company so that everybody, once they log in, can see that, oh, okay, well, there's an all-staff meeting here in room 101 on the 2nd, or the office will be closed on the 3rd in observance of the 4th of July holiday. So you can see that information here. Everybody sees it when they log in, and if you have permission to do so through the security system, you can also add things, announcements, and calendar events. Up here at the top is the ability to add customized buttons that go directly to certain functions that maybe you want shortcuts to. This is my set of shortcuts that I have set up within the system, and what it does is like this button here would just take me directly out to the CRM people account page so that I can quickly look up customers. Here's where I could just automatically open quickly an inventory inquiry to see quantity on hand for a particular item. So I set up the stuff where I frequent up here at the top so that I don't have to go through the navigation menu over here to find it. I just hit these buttons and it takes me directly there. There's other information here on the dashboard, including infographics about payables and receivables, transactions, open order amounts, and again, this is all customizable. Jumping right into it here, the ERP administration module is where you set up your users for the ERP and the security groups for those users. So let's say you have a warehouse group and a sales group and an accountant group. These are all groups inside your organization, and once you have users set up in the system, you then assign them to groups, which defines their security and what they have access to within the ERP application itself. And it's important to note that if they don't have access to it, then they can't actually see it or access it on the menu. So it's essentially a way of customizing this primary menu over here so that the users only see the information that they have access to. Here's where you can customize the links, announcements, and calendars on the dashboard, as well as provide input essential ERP information about the setup. The activity log gives you information about what's been going on in the ERP, changes that have made, and significant events that happen behind the scenes. The System Common module holds functions that are universal across all modules, such as tax schedules, a help knowledge base so that you can document procedures that are done within your business and give people access to, well, how do I do this, or what's this business function, and they can come in and look up help in your system and find out how to do things. Shipping zones and rates, shipping via, which is, is it FedEx or UPS or USPS or DHL or whoever it is, and set up those rates and ship zones there to help calculate your freight. Set up multiple countries and the states or providence within those countries, and as well as run some utilities such as like a standard cost roll-up or different things like that affect multiple modules. The integrator module is a very sophisticated module within Tekoa ERP, and I'll go into a lot more detail on this in another video. But what's important to note about it is what it does is it facilitates secure business relationships, business data relationships with other companies that you do business with. So for example, if you have orders that come in from a major online retailer and you want to automatically integrate those into your sales orders, then you would come in here using the integrator tool and you would set up that business relationship, that data relationship with the major online retailer, and then automatically pull that information into Tekoa ERP. It's very powerful, very dynamic. You can also use it for doing ACH payments and integrating with your bank and all of this kind of thing. So, but what's important to note here is that Tekoa ERP is very capable of creating secure data partnerships with other organizations to help automate the transactions that occur within the ERP. So whether those are banking transactions, order transactions, inventory transactions, e-commerce integration transactions, all of these types of things can be set up as data partnerships so that your Tekoa ERP can perform transactions automatically based on information that it either gives or provides or is provided from your secure data partners. The General Ledger module, of course, has foundation is the chart of accounts and includes a chart of accounts code that can have up to 50 characters and as many segments as you like. It's a very dynamic chart of accounts that allows you to have sub-accounts and roll-ups and parent accounts, and it's very sophisticated and capable, and allows you to customize your general ledger financials so that you can really get good insight in business intelligence into how your business is performing. You can also set up budgets within the general ledger for each of the accounts, post journal entries, manage bank accounts, and of course view traditional general ledger reports such as trial balance or financial statements. The accounts payable module, of course, is where you're going to make payments to all of your vendors and suppliers. Right on the accounts payable dashboard is your aging for accounts payable. It tells you what your liabilities are to your vendors or suppliers, as well as a place where you can quickly and easily input payments that you have made against these outstanding invoices. So whether those be electronic payments that you made through your bank, or whether or not you wrote check for them, either way you can input those payments here and either print the check or record the electronic payment or transfer the electronic using the integrator, the electronic payment through the integrator. So it's the essentials of accounts payable management all in one dashboard right here. You of course can enter in invoices, whether those be invoices attached to purchase orders or just general invoices for payables such as rent or utilities or telephone or internet service or whatever the case may be. You can input those here. The template and batch entry function in accounts payable allows you to enter in invoice templates for invoices that you traditionally would do on a regular basis. So let's say, for example, you had a rent invoice or a security invoice or a telephone invoice or something like that. You set up the template, and then on a monthly basis or however often you need to do it, you do a batch entry, which then says, okay, we'll generate these invoices, and then it saves you time and energy when inputting those invoices because it's automated based on the templates that you put in there. Of course, you can make payments, whether those be physical checks that you're going to print using the check printing process, or whether or not they're electronic payments that are automatically set up and transmitted through a business data partnership you set up through the integrator. Either way, you can process that information here in the accounts payable module. Similarly, the accounts receivable module has a dashboard which shows you the receivables. So here's your aging right there, right out of the gate. Tells you what your receivables balance is, who owes you, and what the invoices are. You can look in more depth at the specific invoice, and then you can also record payment that you've received on those, whether that be a physical check that somebody mailed to you, or whether or not it was a transaction that came in from a website, or whether or not it was an automatic deposit from a bank account. You could record those payments here and keep track of customers and what they owe, as well as the open invoice balances for the particular customers. You post the invoices once they're generated. So let's say you go through an entire day of shipping, a bunch of product went out the warehouse through the shipping department. Those invoices can then be either printed or electronically sent to the customers. When they're electronically sent, they can be sent as a PDF attachment to an email, or they can be sent as an HTML email to each of the customers, and this is all done automatically based on the setup and configuration of your Tekoa ERP. And it's all, again, intended to help save you time and money and energy in managing your business. So the invoice post process is a very sophisticated tool that allows the automatic dissemination of your invoices out to the customers and how they like to receive them, whether they be electronic or printed. You can, of course, post cash receipts and payments against your customers, open invoices, and then it'll also view essential sales reports such as sales by customer, sales by division, sales by product, sales by division, whatever the case may be. You can also view reports there using the Microsoft Business Intelligence tool and Report Manager. The People module is essential CRM for Tekoa ERP, and it's a place where you centrally manage all of the people that you do business with on a regular basis, whether that be prospects, customers, vendors, or just general people that you want to set up in the ERP. You have each customer or vendor or prospect or whoever it might be will have an account. And you can see here that I have some customers in here, and I have some vendors in here, and here's a prospect down here at the bottom. And I have the ability to track very specific information about those accounts within the ERP. And so gone are the days where you would have, a list over here and a spreadsheet over there, or a database on this guy's laptop over and wherever he is, and where all of your customers are in different locations. Now you have one central location where all of your customers are, and vendors and prospects and everyone is kept all in one location. You can have unlimited contacts for each of the accounts. You can have unlimited addresses for each of the accounts. You can post attachments, so that maybe there's signed contracts or information that you want to attach to the account. You do that here, and it's forever attached to this account and easily searchable. You can keep notes, maybe sales notes or shipping notes or purchase notes or something like that you can relate it to this account so that everybody in your workforce can stay on the same page. You can view history of their invoices and purchase habits based on this account for this particular account. And again, it's one central management location for all of your customers, vendors, prospects, general people that you do business with on a daily basis, and it allows you to keep all of this information on a per account basis within the one central ERP application. There's a couple of different ways to organize the people that you do business with. Divisions is the primary way that defines how the general ledger financials are going to receive postings. So whether that's a vendor or a customer, you can define multiple accounts receivable accounts or accounts payable accounts based on the division. You can customize customer deposit liabilities and whatever the case may be. You can set up the different ways that you want the financials to map related to that type of customer. So let's say you have wholesale customers and you want to track the receivables for wholesale customers in a different way that you track the receivables for retail customers. Then you can set up two different divisions and associate the customers with those two different divisions, and then the financials will be mapped in a unique way based on how you have it set up depending on what division the customer is associated with. In the same way, there's another layer of organization where you can set up category trees that maybe drill down into a little bit more specific about about what that customer or vendor supplies, or whether they're a wholesale or retail, or whether they're a manufacturer or a distributor or whatever. But you can set up categories, and really what this is intended to do is help you when you go to do analysis and reports for business intelligence purposes. You can say, well, how many accounts do we have that fit this category, or how many suppliers do we have that fit into that category, or and what it does is allows you to be very specific and create a tree that organizes the people that you have within your business, and of course terms or payment terms for both customers and vendors. The inventory module is a very powerful part of the Tekoa ERP application. Of course, you can keep items in your inventory, and it's basically anything that you would either buy or sell within the ERP application. It includes stock items or standard items, just product that you would have sitting on a shelf in a warehouse. It also includes bill of materials, where it's a product that you manufacture and you need to keep track of components and workflow associated with that particular product. And it also has non-stock items and services, so you can keep track of non-stock items that you don't necessarily want to track for inventory purposes, but you do need to have them in the system, like maybe box tape or glue or something, staples, I don't know, something like this that you would have in the system that you want to have in your inventory, but you don't necessarily want to track specifically. You would set those up as non-stock items. Just real quickly, I want to show you some of the more highlighted features of the inventory module. So, for example, here I have a kite, and I have all of the pricing and unit information and cost information, average cost, last cost. It's important to note here that we support 6 different types of inventory costing valuations, including standard costing, average costing, FIFO, or first in first out costing, LIFO, or last in first out costing, lot valuation, which keeps track of a unique identifier for a batch of items, or serialized valuation, which is it keeps track of a serial number for each individual item in inventory. And again, we support all 6 versions of that valuation. And you can see here I can keep track of different divisions, so I can map very specifically how the financial information related to this particular product, to my products, and this particular product, how it flows through into my financials. I can have different inventory accounts. Maybe I want to keep inventory for this type of product in one account and inventory for another type of account in that account, and I can set up very specific maps for the way that I want the financial information related to my inventory to flow through the system. And that includes being able to post by multiple warehouse locations, or even by customer types or customer divisions. So I can be very specific in the way that I map my my revenues or my costs or my inventory assets or my inventory adjustments, purchases clearing, variances for purchasing and manufacturing. All that kind of stuff is all managed through the division setup and defines how the financial information for your inventory flows. There are several tabs available here in the inventory management, including the ability to have about 20 different types of pieces of information related to this item. What's its UPC, what's our EAN 13, all this different information about it. And again, this just makes your reporting and search capabilities much more dynamic. I can input a UPC number and it'll tell me, oh, okay, yeah, that's this 450-170 LFO item. Another capability here is that you can have multiple warehouses and different quantities in those warehouses, and then set up different reorder points and different reorder methods for each of the warehouses, so that you can manage the stock quantities on hand for each of your different locations. One of the key functions in Tekoa ERP that makes us different than other ERP applications is our ability to have inventory options. So let's say, for example, we had this kite, and this kite comes in 3 different colors. It comes in red, blue, and green. Well, instead of having 3 different products, individual specific products in our inventory for, one for the red kite, one for the green kite, and one for the blue kite, instead I can just have one kite in our inventory, and then say that kite comes in 3 different color options. It comes in red, blue, or green. And then at the time that the sale is processed, whether that be through e-commerce or through the sales order module, at the time that the sale is entered, it's going to say, hey, you have to pick this option for this particular item. Do you want it in red, blue, or green? And then the user that's inputting that information has to select what option for that particular item they want to select. And it is a way of streamlining and making your inventory management more efficient. You don't have to have superfluous item numbers in there that maybe get lost or confused or anything like that. You can centralize and compartmentalize the types of inventory items that you have by making individuals more dynamic using options. For products that are bill of materials related, you can set up the components or the raw materials that go into the manufacturing of it, as well as set up the route process or the manufacturing process for making this particular finished good. Very sophisticated capabilities in Tekoa ERP related to work in process and make to order manufacturing. Suffice it to say, here's where I set up the route, which is basically how it flows through the production process in my manufacturing plant. I'll get into a little bit more detail on that later, but there's very sophisticated and capable ways of keeping track of how the product is manufactured. You can, of course, set up multiple warehouse settings for this particular item, look at the transactions history for this item, set up multiple descriptions or a specification. You can put attachments, whether that be brochures or spec sheets or drawings or users manuals or anything like this. You can attach specifically to this item and then track very efficiently. The metadata and the information is related to e-commerce and how that your information appears online. So again, a very sophisticated and capable inventory management tool, of which I am very just going over at a very quick pace here. Transactions in inventory, there are several that are available, including shipping, receiving. We have a conversion transaction, which allows you to take one product and turn it into something else, really with just a one quick transaction. I want to take this bulk product and turn it into individual products, or I want to change something by turning it from an A into an A1. I can do that through inventory transaction entry. I can transfer product between multiple warehouses. I can do requisitions. Receipts, sales, all those types of transactions. And again, they can all be done also using the mobile device. You can input these transactions through your mobile device into the browser, and all those screens are optimized to make that super efficient and easy using a mobile device, either a tablet or a phone or a handheld computer. We, of course, do physical count within inventory to make sure that all of your quantities on hand are accurate, and then there's also reports for inventory, such as stock status, which will tell you at any given point what you have on hand and available based on what's on order and either sales or purchase order or required for production, these types of things, so that you can have in-depth analysis of what's going on in your inventory, what's available, what's not, what do you need to order, what's selling well. These types of reports are available in Inventory Reports module. In addition to dividing everything up by by division, you also have the ability to create category trees that help organize your products, so that you can do more in-depth business intelligence reporting and slice and dice things very efficiently within the system, so that you can have visibility into what's going on in your inventory. That's what's most important, right, about inventory, is knowing what do I have, where is it, do I need to order more, are we out of it, do I have too much of it, what needs to move, which one are my most popular items. And you can do that in a number of different ways, and even by category, by setting up a category tree and then asking those questions of the system based on what categories you've assigned to the individual products. The purchase order module is pretty straightforward. What it allows you to do is create purchase orders that are sent to your vendors, either electronically or you can print them out. And those purchase orders are for, of course, product that you're either going to sell or need for raw materials. Then you receive those purchase orders, and we have a kind of a unique way of doing receiving, in that it's mobile optimized. So let's say a truck shows up at the back warehouse, and the mobile user that is doing the receiving is basically just scanning everything that came in the back door and the quantity that they received, and then all of that information is collected up and sent to the receiving admin, who then uses some efficiency utilities to determine what purchase orders those products are for. So it allows you basically to receive multiple purchase orders on one receipt, and very quickly and efficiently relate product that has been received to the open purchase orders and match those things up very quickly and dynamically. So a very sophisticated receiving tool. that allows just sort of essential data entry on the receiving to make it quick and easy. Get that information in, get it received, get it in the system, and then receiving admin says, okay, well, this one goes to this PO, that one goes to that PO, this one was for this quantity is broken up into 2 pieces, and blah blah blah, and the receiving admin organizes all of that to make sense of the receiving history. Sales order module allows you to essentially input orders for sale, but it's also more than that. It's a launching pad for make-to-order manufacturing. So not only do I input orders for customers for stock that I have on hand, but I also have the ability to input orders for stock that I don't have on hand, and then release manufacturing events that will make the product that has been sold, and then track all of the production of that information against the particular sales order, so that I actually can produce an income statement, if you will, per order, and know my profitability per sales order. So I have the ability to input all the essential information of the order, of course, here, and then a multiple ship to address selection here, and then enter in the details about my order, see what options are available, what to choose for this particular item, what's my on hand for this particular item, as well as some more detailed information about pricing and costing. Again, it's all designed to be very quick data entry and allow for ease of use, and can be used on a tablet or on a mobile device to make people out in the field or working directly with customers able to input this information quick and easily. And as things occur, as the shipping occurs, as the picking occurs, every time something happens to one of the line items on this sales order, there's a transaction that is recorded against this order. So when the customer calls in and says, hey, what's the status of my order? My order's 33 1 2 3 4 5 6, and you say, oh yeah, okay, I can see here that on this date it went through picking, and on this date it was shipped, and so you should be receiving that within the next 24 hours, I would expect. And if it was a manufactured item, we could also say, oh well, that just made it out of Work Center 1, and so they're putting the left-handed handle on it right now, and it should be into the right-handed handle tomorrow. And so basically, by going in and looking at the sales order inquiry, you can see what has happened to the sales order, so you can be intelligent about informing your customers what's going on. But then you can also track costs associated with a particular sales order, so that you can do a profit and loss statement basically by sales order. Of course, the sales order module also has a production manager, which for those items that have been input that are make to order that you need to manufacture in order to fulfill the order, it allows you to release those orders and track the documentation and process of that manufacturing. Of course, picking, which is totally mobile optimized, and it comes in 2 different varieties: either a guided picking, which it'll say, okay, go here and pick this, go here and pick that, and the guy holding or the gal holding the mobile device is just simply following instructions and picking product and quantity as instructed on the mobile device. Or they can also do an unguided picking solution where they actually get to decide what items they're going to fulfill. One of the interesting features of the picking dashboard is that it does show you which sales orders can be completely picked, or which ones are only a partial pick, or which ones can't be picked based on inventory on hand availability. So you can see here on my list of sales orders, this would be my picking dashboard. So my person out in my warehouse who does my picking is going to have this dashboard up all the time, and they're going to see that, okay, well, these 3 sales orders are ready and they can be shipped complete. If even one of the items on any of these orders was not pickable because there was an insufficient quantity on hand, then the status of that order would be changed to partial, and they would know that, okay, well, they can only pick part of that order. Or there would be a no pick badge here if it was something where you don't have on hand any of the product that's on that order, and so it is either in the manufacturing process or needs to be ordered. So it's a basic heads-up display for the picking warehouse personnel, so that they know which orders to pick, and they can see whether or not it's a complete pick or a partial pick, or they can't pick it at all right now. We also have the shipping dashboard, which is another helpful tool that allows you to, once product has been picked, it then goes to shipping, and from the shipping dashboard they can create packages and move product into packages. You can see, okay, here's everything that's been picked. I'm going to add a package, and select a ship via, and then I can just basically drag product over and stick it in the package, right? And as I do that, then I can then additionally finalize that package and add a tracking number and a weight and a freight amount, all of that. And again, so it's a full shipping data entry functionality here within that. And again, it's all attached to the sales order so that I can track that information on a line-by-line basis on my sales order, so that I can go back and look at the specific details of what happened on this particular order, what were my costs associated with this particular order, and when did things happen. So very sophisticated and powerful tools in the sales order module that includes not only the ability to input orders with options, with items with options on them, but then also release a product that I don't have on hand into production if I need to make it, and then also pick that product using mobile devices and barcode scanners, and then ship that product using a very sophisticated and easy to use shipping data interface. The service module is basically for accountants and lawyers and tech folks who bill their services, and you set up projects and bill time and materials against projects. We're not going to get into that here. The mobile dashboard is essentially what is a quick access point for a mobile device. So if I were to log into this on a mobile device, it would immediately determine that I was on a browser on a small form factor, and it would take me to the mobile dashboard instead of the main primary ERP dashboard. And you can see here very quickly I have these large buttons that make it easy to access different functionality within the ERP on the mobile device. So I can look up my customers, I can look up inventory. So let's say I'm out in the field, I'm a sales guy and I'm out in the field, and my customer says, hey, well, do you have any left-handed handles on the in stock? And I say, I can do an inventory inquiry right there, get real-time information about what's available in our inventory. Yeah, I got a couple of those sitting in the Seattle warehouse. You want me to ship those to you? Sure. And then I enter in the sales order right there, right in front of the customer. And in fact, if I wanted to, I could even use this point of sale or route sales module here, which allows me to take payment and print receipts and basically do a point of sale transaction, including take a payment right there in front of the customer. This manufacturing button here takes me to the process where I scan barcodes as things move through production, so that I can track my costs associated with production. And again, also all automated and optimized for the most efficiency that we can get. If you're into make-to-order manufacturing and have more questions about that, definitely explore the online video about make-to-order manufacturing, because there's a lot of capability in here, and so I would just encourage you to explore that. There's a lot of functionality available in there. The web module down here is your Tekoa e-commerce integration that allows you to have multiple websites and integrate that information into your sales and customer management and inventory management. So this is a real brief overview of Tekoa ERP. Again, it is a cloud-based ERP application for today's mid-sized business that allows you to access anywhere the information over using an internet connection and a browser, and is a very sophisticated and fully functional ERP application that includes financials, inventory management, CRM, order processing, and make-to-order manufacturing all in one package, and it centralizes all of your business functions into one dynamic tool. Another thing that makes it pretty special is that it has the integrator tool that allows you to set up business data relationships with outside parties, whether they be your bank or big customers or big vendors that you want to automate transaction back and forth with in order to help speed that process and reduce manual data entry. It has the integrator module, which allows you to set up relationships to trade information back and forth in a very secure way. So I hope this information has been helpful to you. If you need more information about Tekoa ERP, be sure to visit us online at www.tekoaerp.com. And if you haven't already, set up a profile there, and you'll be able to get pricing and more in-depth information about our specific modules. You'll be able to get lots more information from maybe other users through the forum, but just make sure to check us out on www.tekoaerp.com for more information. I thank you for your time.